Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Cilinix Crypto, or if you're new, welcome. And in this video, we'll talk about Bitcoin again, which, right now, I think there's enough to talk about. We'll talk a little bit about news next week, what we can expect. I think last week was pretty quiet in terms of economic news. This week, I think we have a little bit more, so we'll talk about that. I'll just tell you what you need to know, so when you can expect volatility, etc. Very, very useful and valuable. But apart from that, we'll also talk about Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, obviously, to me, it still feels pretty fragile, right? So it got up to this level right here between 36,000, let's say 36,400 and 37,600, which is the main resistance level. As you know, I still expect that Bitcoin at some point of time will break above 37,600 and get up to the levels around 40,000. That's what I still expect. But usually, if you see an uptrend, you also expect it to test the support levels. And Bitcoin has not even touched the 28 EMA, which right now is at around 36,600, and then there's another support around 36,000. And personally, I do kind of still expect those levels, all right, which is quite a big move, and that's also why I'm kind of tempted to call this an emergency update, because usually right now, if Bitcoin moves down like that, the market moves down together with it way more, all right? And I always think that these Bitcoin updates I do are also kind of a market update. But all right, before we talk about that, first of all, news next week. If we take a look at that, Tuesday, we have the inflation rate, CPI, very important. Wednesday, we have PPI and retail sales, less important. Thursday, we have initial jobless claims, and just in general, a ton of speeches, etc. Also important, less important than the inflation rate, but important. And then on Friday, the building permits and housing starts. So a lot of news. I'll keep you updated throughout the week, right? So if it's coming up, tomorrow we'll talk more about the inflation rates, and also Tuesday, of course. But now, the situation for Bitcoin. So like I said, Bitcoin right now, it's the weekend, so the volume has dropped down quite drastically. The volume for Bitcoin over the last 24 hours is down about 40%. That will increase over the course of today. And what that will cause is volatility. Because if the volume drops down and new capital gets into the markets, that new capital is going to cause more volatility than if the volume was already high. All right, because you can do more with money if the volume is low. So that's what I expect. Now, in terms of what I expect for Bitcoin, like I said, at some point of time, I do expect that breakout above 37,600 and a continuation up to 40,000. But for now, I do still expect it to test the support levels, at least 36,600. But I think it's even likely that it will test 36,000 and possibly even lower, around 35,200 and 35,400. That is what I expect short term. And you should know how that affects the rest of the markets. Right now, the Bitcoin dominance is still fairly high. It's dropping down a little bit because Ethereum has been quite strong, but it's still fairly high. So if Bitcoin gets a minor drop like that, which I do expect, like I said, then altcoins will react heavily. So be careful with that. But for now, that's what I expect. In terms of if I would have to draw out a scenario, it would be something like this. All right, so perhaps a bit of a spike down here, then a recovery, consolidation here between 37,600 and 36,000, followed by a bullish breakout and a move up to 40,000. That's what I would say is most likely right now, given the fundamentals. It depends a little bit on how the dollar strength index opens. That has recovered a little bit since yesterday, or since last week, Friday. Not last Friday, but the week before that. It has recovered a bit, but it's still pretty weak. So if that opens weak, then we could see some more bullish momentum and a consolidation up a bit higher. But that's all I think for now on Bitcoin. I think that's all you need to know. Lastly, as you can see around the video, I also have my own premium group and signal group. They're different, but they both do have value. It just depends on what you want. Different price points. If you're interested in that, if you want to make some money while trading and becoming a better trader, check that out. But for now, thank you for watching. Take care and bye.